Picture this. You just stepped out into your backyard. You look up at the night sky, and suddenly you realize the moon, the thing we've literally looked at our entire lives, is hurtling directly toward you. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're jumping headfirst into a really visceral, incredibly fast-paced scenario of a lunar anomaly. This old concept was put together by the super talented visual effects YouTube channel Shutter Authority. And let me tell you, they do an absolute knockout job of throwing you straight into the absolute chaos of a world-ending event. We're going to break down the anatomy of this digital panic today. We'll track how it goes from that terrifying, gut-wrenching personal realization of doom all the way up to a macro-level societal breakdown, and finally look at the real-world cinematic inspiration behind the whole shebang. It's just a fantastic study in how to build immense tension in literally a matter of seconds.
Moving right into Section 1, an imminent lunar threat. We're dealing with a sudden, massive celestial event here.
So the source material just drops us right into the middle of the action, tapping into this super primal human fear. Think about it. The sky is supposed to be our ultimate constant, right? The moon has been in the exact same spot for billions of years. When that constant suddenly breaks, our brains honestly struggle to even process it. And that brings us to the very first major reaction we see. The characters scream, "Look at the moon! Oh my God, this is definitely not normal." You can absolutely feel the urgency right out of the gate. They realize with this breathless dread that the moon is visibly getting bigger and closer to Earth. In the clip, the narrator stammers out, "It's getting bigger, I think it's getting closer." It perfectly captures that terrifying moment of cognitive dissonance. You know what you're looking at is physically impossible, but it is happening right in front of your face. The sheer scale of a planetary body moving toward you, it's just too massive to comprehend. Now look at the frantic survival instincts captured in this little micro-narrative. When humans are faced with this kind of incomprehensible, totally unstoppable threat, we just revert to basic, actionable steps to claw back some tiny sense of control. Step 1. Get binoculars. We desperately want more visual info to confirm this terrifying reality. Then, step 2, go inside now. It's our most basic instinct, right? Seek shelter. Even though a roof obviously isn't going to protect anyone from a literal lunar impact, our brains just scream at us to find cover anyway. And finally, step 3, hold on tight. The characters suddenly realize the sheer kinetic violence of what's about to hit them. It perfectly illustrates how our brains try to rapidly process a disaster through actionable, but let's be honest, completely futile tasks. It really grounds the panic and makes it feel incredibly real. All right, on to Section 2, the evacuation order. The localized panic scales up into a macro-level crisis. Because from that incredibly intense localized backyard panic of watching the moon fall, the situation just spirals fast. We move from micro-level fear to a full-blown societal crisis. A breaking news broadcast just aggressively cuts through the chaos, announcing that the governor has ordered a mass evacuation of the entire West Coast. Just pause and think about the sheer logistical nightmare of that for a second. In the face of the moon literally crashing into our planet, governments are out there still trying to maintain order. They're issuing directives, trying to save lives, even when the actual mechanics of a cosmic event like this render human logistics pretty much entirely useless. So, the crucial points are laid out right here in the emergency broadcast directives. Mass evacuation ordered, entire West Coast affected. But check out that final bullet point. Move to higher ground immediately. Now, why higher ground? Well, the source material doesn't spell it out like a science textbook, but it heavily implies that the immediate threat, even before the actual impact, is the insane gravitational pull of the descending moon. It would be violently dragging the Earth's oceans along with it, creating tidal waves on a scale we can't even imagine. The severe reality of the crash is confirmed by these directives, taking the stakes to an absolute extreme for millions of people in just a matter of moments. Which brings us to Section 3, the cinematic inspiration. Let's look at the reality behind this digital panic. Because here is where we conceptually pull the camera back. The creator steps in right at the absolute height of the tension to drop a major twist on us. This entire heart-pounding scenario, it's actually a promotional piece inspired by the epic sci-fi disaster film Moonfall. Talk about a brilliant modern marketing technique, right? They essentially used a first-person found footage-style disaster to hook you on this really visceral level, and then they pull back the curtain to reveal that this is just a tiny taste of a much larger, professionally crafted cinematic universe. They make you feel the dread personally before trying to sell you a ticket. Let's look at what Shutter Authority really wants us to take away about this film. They're describing Moonfall as this epic sci-fi disaster movie with totally groundbreaking visual effects. And they're very explicitly emphasizing that this was made for the big screen. They really want you out there experiencing the immense spectacle in a theater.
What Shutter Authority is doing here is leveraging their own intense short-form visual effects to highlight the massive scale of the feature film. They're basically saying, hey, if you thought our tiny little backyard clip was intense, just imagine experiencing this level of destruction on a 50-foot screen with booming surround sound.
And that perfectly leads into our final takeaway, translating that frantic opening hook into a lingering sense of curiosity. The source material teases that the film features a very mysterious story about the moon. So it's not just a giant rock falling out of the sky willy-nilly. There's a deep secret there, a specific reason why this literally impossible physics event is taking place. So I want to leave you with this to chew on as we wrap up. If the sky actually started falling tomorrow, what dark secrets would it reveal about our universe? What is the true mysterious story hiding up there behind the moon? It definitely makes you want to look up at the night sky just a little differently tonight, doesn't it? Well, thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. I really hope you found this breakdown as fascinating as I did. Keep observing and definitely keep asking those big questions.